Hello, my name's Matt and you're watching Pixel Burn, where I take a look at some of the more interesting things that happened in gaming this past week. Now, this video will be coming to you slightly later than usual due to the sheer amount of fucking research I had to do for it. Research, now there's a novelty. This week, King.com, the company behind Candy Crush Saga, fired another salvo in its ongoing bid to become the next Zynga by successfully trademarking the word candy in Europe. Having previously successfully acquired the trademark for the word Saga, King.com then decided to celebrate this copyright atrocity by acting like a bunch of c***s. For the two people in the world fortunate enough to have never heard of it, Candy Crush Saga is a shitty, exploitative, bejeweled rip-off with microtransactions, popular amongst stay-at-home parents, the permanently unemployed, and future participants of the Jeremy Kyle Show. It is everything wrong with video games wrapped up in a nauseatingly bright package and, above all, fills me with so much contempt it makes me want to shit blood. King's shiny new trademarks can only be enforced in the context of video games and clothing, but it's gone all out guns a-blazing on that, sending out legal notices to any games on the iOS App Store with the word candy or saga in their title. One of their targets was a chap by the name of Benny Hugh, whose iOS game All Candy Casino Slots Dual Craze Connect Big Blast Mania Land was accused of trademark infringement by King. However, it's not just iOS games that are being targeted. The developers of the recently released The Banner Saga, a turn-based tactical RPG inspired by Norse mythology, have had their attempt to register it as a trademark opposed by King.com on the basis that it has the word saga in its title. Regardless of the fact that only a complete imbecile could compare a tactical RPG about Vikings, with an art style reminiscent of Dom Bluth and Ralph Bakshi, to a shitty bejeweled rip-off with an art style that would demean even the most childish 5-year-old. King have since issued the following statement on the matter. King has not and is not trying to stop the Banner Saga from using its name. We do not have any concerns that Banner Saga is trying to build on our brand or our content. However, like any rabid pack of corporate jackals, we need to take all appropriate steps to protect our Friday night cocaine and stripper parties. In this case, that means preserving our ability to throw our legal weight around in cases where other developers may try to put out games that don't treat their audiences like coin dispensers. If we had not opposed Banner Saga's trademark application, we might look like actual artists and not a thick layer of money-grabbing scum, floating on the surface of games development like a massive coagulated feces. This is an important issue for King because we really like money, and already have a series of other shitty games with the word saga in their title, which people with an appreciation for originality have come to associate with the gaming equivalent of Pigswill, Candy Crush Saga, Bubble Witch Saga, Pet Rescue Saga, Farm Hero Saga, and so on. All of these titles have already been ripped off by other creatively bankrupt vultures looking to make a fast buck. Which is all a bit rich considering King took down their game Pack-A-Void this week after accusations it was a deliberate clone of another game called Scamper Ghost. Trademarking generic terms like candy and saga is the desperate action of a company whose games are woefully generic to begin with. While stoic, the Banner Saga's developers can fight the trademark block and no doubt win it very easily, that'll take precious time and money better spent on other things. Meanwhile, King continued to rack up between $1 million and $3 million per day in revenue from slack-jawed cretins around the globe playing Candy fucking Crush. One positive thing to have come out of all of this is Candy Jam, a protest game jam in which participants are encouraged to make as many games as possible with the words candy in them, all of which I'm sure will be infinitely more original than anything King shits out. Another big story doing the rounds this week was how Microsoft concocted a sly little bargain with Machinima, one of YouTube's biggest multi-channel networks, to have Machinima partnered YouTube channels subtly promote the Xbox One in their videos. Which just goes to show you can't trust anyone nowadays, least of all on the internet. Except me, of course. You can totally trust me. This cover email and the separate contract for the deal were leaked surreptitiously onto the internet by YouTube user ReconXBL and outlined in full detail the terms of this particular devil's bargain. Wow, they really wrote hello influencers there. Good God, I feel dirty just looking at it. That's how I imagine the Illuminati start the emails they send to all their puppet organisations. Anyhow, the gist of Machinima's email and the accompanying contract leaked onto Pastebin is that Machinima would dish out a bonus of $3 Yankee for every 1,000 views on videos about the Xbox One that met the following criteria. 1. That you incorporated at least 30 seconds of gameplay or footage of any Xbox One game. 2. That you verbally mentioned that you are playing on an Xbox One. And 3. You tagged your video with XB1M13, which incidentally is what I'm going to call my next Doom map. The contract also stated, you may not say anything negative or disparaging about Machinima, Xbox One, or any of its games in your campaign video. Section 3 subsection 2 for the record there. Once you did all that and submitted an official request to serve through a site called PopTent, you'd start raking in a smidgen of extra cash for people watching your videos. There were some limitations on this deal of course, namely that it would only last until February the 9th or until a collective 1.25 million views had been reached. And thanks to eager machinima collaborators, the campaign hit its view target within just a few days. Now I personally wasn't too surprised when I first heard about this deal. Sponsored videos and marketing campaigns happen on YouTube all the time. And not just on gaming channels, they're particularly big on makeup channels and tech channels, just to name a couple of examples there. Now the controversy in this case arises from section 5 of Machinima's contract for the deal, which states, and I quote, "You agree to keep confidential at all times all matters relating to this agreement, including, without limitation, the promotional requirements and the CPM compensation listed above." Which is where this little arrangement crossed the line from being somewhat sleazy and a bit scummy to borderline illegal. At least under United States trade laws. Business practices in the United States are overseen by the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC for short, whose mission it is to protect consumers from fraud, deception and unfair business practices. The FTC ensure US trade laws are enforced correctly and prevent anti-competitive business practices within the US business market. The FTC's remit also covers online advertising and endorsements, and according to their guidelines, any such endorsements where there is, quote, "a connection between the endorser and the seller of the advertised product that might materially affect the weight or credibility of the endorsement, require full disclosure." Blah 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 and so on and so forth. All you need to know is that if you're American and you're compensated in some way for promoting something in a, say, a vlog or a blog or other online thingamy-bob, then you are legally required to inform your audience in that case. If you're not American, well, it's just basic common courtesy really. Assuming, of course, you don't just see your viewers as a bunch of magic numbers that piss money into your bank account. Unfortunately, Machinima's contract strongly suggested participants couldn't mention the sponsorship deal at all, not even to fulfill this basic legal obligation. And since your average YouTuber has about as much knowledge of US trade laws as I do about the papal rights of succession, they erred wrongly on the side of caution. They took part in a promotion without saying they were sponsored, and thus wound up looking like morally bankrupt sellouts. Rightly or not. Since this all kicked off, Microsoft have issued the following statement. Microsoft was not aware of individual contracts Machinima had with their content providers as part of this promotion. We didn't provide feedback on any of the videos. We have asked Machinima to not post any additional Xbox One content as part of this media buy, and we have asked them to add disclaimers to the videos that were part of this program, indicating they were part of paid advertising. As for Machinima, they issued a joint statement with Microsoft saying the following. This partnership between Machinima and Microsoft was a typical marketing partnership to promote Xbox One in December. The Xbox team does not review any specific content or provide feedback on content. Any confidentiality provisions, terms or other guidelines are standard documents provided by Machinima. For clarity, confidentiality relates to the agreements themselves, not the existence of the promotion. Meanwhile, YouTubers who willingly took part in this promotion have been answering to their fans. Just to clarify, I'm not against YouTubers doing promotional deals in general. If the average Joe or Joanne can make some extra cash doing a promotional video, well, that's fine by me. Just so long as the video they do isn't presented as, say, an objective review or is intended to otherwise deceive the viewer. Things like game tournaments are alright. Events like these are blatantly to promote the game anyway, and nobody involved is actively reviewing it, so I don't care if it's sponsored or not. Similarly, if you were given a game to do a first impressions video of and you show the game warts and all, that's fine too. What's not acceptable is willingly taking part in a sly attempt at viral marketing that forbids you from giving any criticism without telling your audience it's a promotional thing. That makes you the lowest kind of mercenary sellout, is a slap in the face to all the loyal fans who have supported you, and everything you say from now on is suspect. And for the record, no, I will never take part in any promotion that either forbids me from criticising something or requires me to lie to you. You have my word on that. Well, unless someone wants to send me a bottle of Jack Daniels or 20. Uncle Matthew needs his medicine. That's all for this episode of Pixel Burn. If you liked it, then please do let me know. At the very least, I hope you found it tolerable. If you didn't like it, well, you're not legally obliged to disclose that, so I suppose you can go now.